Unifi has recently added a new product to its lineup, the Unifi Express, a mini router that can almost be compared to a Fritzbox. You might wonder if it can really serve as a replacement for standard home routers, whether it lives up to its promises, and what the potential drawbacks are. You'll find out after the intro. Enjoy. Before we start with the features and everything else, let's first take a look at the device from the outside, as it already gets interesting there. The device is definitely, as you can see, relatively small and somewhat resembles the Apple AirPod. I believe that's what it's called. It used to be a router from Apple, and I think it has since been discontinued. The Apple AirPod Express, as mentioned, has a similar design. At the front, there is a small OLED display that shows both the currently used bandwidth graphically and how many devices are currently connected. On the back, we have a USB-C port to power the router, a LAN port, and a WAN port. If we compare this with a classic router, it is immediately noticeable that there is no switch, so we only have one LAN port here. Accordingly, it would probably need to be used in conjunction with, for example, can be paired with a Unifi Flex Mini, which is a mini switch from Unifi to achieve a similar feature set as a standard home router. The advantages of this router are clearly the Unifi OS, which is actually designed for larger routers such as the UDM Pro. The UDM Pro, which is slightly more expensive, is therefore not typically used by most in-home networks, and I would say it is more targeted towards medium to large enterprises that have it installed on their premises. You get a corresponding operating system that allows you to configure networks very easily. So, a very, very nice, clear interface with many options and the ability to play around with VLANs and so on, all in a mini format for home use and more. The box costs a total of $120, making it very interesting in terms of price performance, especially when compared to traditional routers. However, there are still limitations compared to the larger brother, specifically a limit on the number of devices you can connect with this. A maximum of 5 devices can be connected, referring to devices that can be directly integrated into the Unifi OS, such as the Apple AirPod, the Unifi Flex Mini, so you could use a maximum of 4 additional switches, 4 additional access points, as it is also very easy to build a mesh network with them. You can simply buy a small mini access point, which can connect to this one, and once you have configured the networks, that is, the Wi-Fi networks in the Unifi OS interface for this router, the access point will automatically adopt these settings and broadcast the Wi-Fi. This means that you have automatically set up a mesh network, which is really very easy to configure, but you can connect a maximum of 5 of these devices. Otherwise, there is also a disadvantage when comparing it to a classic home router, as unfortunately, there is no built-in modem here. This means that you cannot simply take your DSL cable, plug it in, and start right away. Instead, you will need to connect a modem first. This means either using the router that you already received from your provider or getting, for example, I think it's called a Dratec Vigor 165 or 167. This is a classic modem that really only has modem functionality, which connects to the Unifi Express, allowing you to recreate your classic home network, but with the ability to easily create mesh networks, set up a VPN tunnel to the home network, and so on. So, who might find the Unifi Express interesting? I would say it's for anyone who wants to plan a somewhat more complex network, perhaps someone who wants to set up a guest network or provide their network to others, or someone who is starting to experiment with smart home technology and says, I would like to create my own smart home network where all my devices can connect. If there is no internet access, or if they are generally disconnected from my main network and there should be no interface so that the smart home network is completely isolated, then such a router is worthwhile, as such things cannot be implemented with a classic Fritzbox, for example. For all of you who simply want a device to plug in without wanting different Wi-Fi networks and so on, the effort involved with a modem is probably too great. Therefore, yes, I would say that the entire device is designed more for somewhat adventurous individuals. For those interested, I will definitely put the link in the comments below, and that's it for this short review, I would say. And I would say we'll see each other again next week for a new video. If you liked it, show me with a rating. And if you have any questions about it, write them in the comments. Then I would say we'll see each other again next week for a new video. Until then, take care and goodbye. And